Most people think of chickens when they think of animals that can be beneficial for gardens, for compost and weed control. But what if the better bird for weed control isn't a chicken at all? While researching content for my channel on keeping heritage livestock and poultry on a homestead, I kept seeing small scale farmers mention something that never occurred to me: geese don't scratch. And I thought, that's true, they don't. And that one difference changes everything for gardeners. So today I'm sharing what I've learned from a researcher's perspective: characteristics that can make geese good for the garden, how to manage geese in a garden setting, and which geese I would actually choose, knowing what I've learned about the different breeds. And I'm going to be very honest about the pros, the cons, and the level of management required. First of all, let's state the obvious: geese are different from chickens. Chickens scratch, we all know that. That's how they forage. And in a vegetable garden, that can mean uprooted seedlings, scattered mulch, disturbed soil. Geese don't scratch. Geese graze. They are grazing waterfowl designed to consume grasses and tender plant growth. They're not going to uproot your seedlings, scatter your mulch, or disturb the soil. That alone makes them interesting in a managed garden system. But here's the part that surprised me the most, and it completely changed how I look at weed control. Historically, geese have actually been used in controlled agricultural systems like cotton fields, berry patches, and orchards to graze weeds between rows. But here's something you have to consider: they do not instinctively avoid vegetables. They can absolutely eat lettuce, tender greens, and young seedlings. So the idea that geese won't touch your crops is misleading. They can. The difference is that they don't scratch the soil while doing it, which means the damage profile is different and more manageable with planning. So, how do you successfully use geese in gardens? From everything I've researched, geese can work in gardens only when there is structure. That means rotational grazing, fenced zones, timing access before crops mature, and removing them once plants are vulnerable. Geese are not a set it and forget it solution, but in the right system, they can reduce mowing and help suppress weeds. But some breeds are better for this than others. Before we get into the breeds, though, I have to know, have you ever tried what they call weeding geese? Share your story in the comments. I love hearing how these systems actually work on the ground. If I had the space and local permission to keep geese here where I currently live, I wouldn't chase the rarest or most ornamental birds. Well, except for perhaps the Sebastopol, which is a stunning bird and also a heritage breed, but difficult to find. What I mean is, for practical reasons, I would focus on heritage breed geese that are functional in a garden setting, that are realistically obtainable. After researching availability, temperament, and work ethic, these are the three breeds I would personally consider. First, the American buff goose. If I wanted a balanced, dual-purpose heritage goose that could handle a garden setting, the American buff would be high on my list. A calm and generally manageable temperament, good grazing ability, medium size, not overwhelmingly large, but substantial, and still considered a heritage breed needing continued support. That's important to me. The American buffs are known for being steady foragers. That doesn't mean they won't sample vegetables, they absolutely can. But with structured access and boundaries, they're capable grazers and weed managers. If I were starting from scratch, the American buff would be a serious contender. This next one fascinates me because it's autosexing, meaning males and females are different colors at hatch. It's the Pilgrim goose. From a small scale management standpoint, an autosexing goose is practical. What draws me to them from a garden perspective is they are excellent grazers, generally calm temperaments, also medium size, and they carry heritage genetics without extreme rarity, meaning they won't be hard to obtain. If I were trying to balance functionality with sustainability, the Pilgrim would absolutely be in the running. Finally, the Toulouse goose, not the exhibition dewlap type, but the production strain. Toulouse geese are heavier, slower moving birds and strong grazers. If I had more space and wanted a goose that primarily focuses on grazing rather than constant movement, I would consider the Toulouse seriously. They're widely available compared to more ornamental heritage varieties, which makes them realistic for people who actually want to implement this idea. But we can't talk about geese without talking about the elephant in the garden, their attitude or temperament. Now, I have to be honest because I know many of you have had, let's say, experiences with geese. One of the biggest things I see mentioned in the community is that geese can be defensive, or to put it plainly, biters. I've seen them in action on various YouTube channels. They can be a bit intimidating in certain scenarios. But here's the perspective shift. Think of that attitude as actually a management feature. Think of them as the sheriffs of the garden. Their natural instinct to hiss at a strange truck or alert you to a wandering salesperson means they are world-class watchdogs. Many of you have shared how your geese actually protect your chickens from predators. The key isn't avoiding the attitude, it's respecting it. They aren't just weeders, they are part of your farm security team. No goose breed is a vegetable safe bird. If given unrestricted access, geese can and will eat your lettuce, sample your greens, pull up your tender seedlings. They are grazing waterfowl, not selective lawnmowers. So, and this is important, the key isn't the breed alone, it's management. Rotational access, defined grazing areas, and timing. It's the management part that people often skip. But are geese for you? After researching this, I can understand why some say that geese aren't for everyone. Geese need more space than chickens, grass access, water that's deep enough for them to wash their heads in, and clear boundaries. But if someone already has acreage or a larger garden system, geese might be one of the most underrated weed management tools available. Sadly, I can't keep geese right now, but when I can, this is the direction I will go. Not for novelty, not just for aesthetics, but for function. If you're in a position where geese are allowed, this might be worth researching deeper, especially if you're interested in practical heritage breeds that are still in danger of extinction. Because sometimes the solution isn't adding more tools, it's choosing the right animal. And sometimes that animal isn't a chicken. If you're on a journey to find better, more sustainable ways to manage your land, I'd love to have you come along. So hit subscribe and join me on the next farmer's journey.